Hey guys, what's up? Green Machine Sam back with another video, and today we have another roster update guide for Madden 23. Now, with week 1 of free agency officially over, we can talk about some serious things. The roster is becoming more and more correct. Future contracts are being added at a more frequent rate. Players that are actually in free agency are getting released to their teams. Now, yes, some players are not in their correct positions, not entirely correct positions. There are some teams that have a bunch of 4-3 backup ends that do have to slide up to backer and help out there for the time being, as I don't want to put fillers in as much as possible. Even guys that are 50 overalls, I would much rather have somebody that's actually on the roster be in those spots. So I take guys that are fast, physical, good run stoppers that could technically play there if you really needed to. Like one team, for example, has Takk McKinley, the Dallas Cowboys, so they end up moving him to left outside linebacker to help out there, since that is kind of a weak spot for them currently at the moment anyway, and he just gives them speed and versatility there. So let's get it into things, and I'll show you guys how to download the roster and where to go. So you're going to want to head to Share and Manage Files on the little NFL sticker. You're going to go down to Download Community Files, and my file should pop up pretty quickly once you search it by date. It does not have a whole ton of downloads, as I wasn't really putting out rosters anyway during the middle of the season. And it seems like more people are putting out rosters to begin with, so there's more variety, I guess, in the space. But I normally upload it at least once a day, because I normally do roster updates once a day. When I get on my PlayStation, I normally take about 30 minutes to an hour to make sure I get at least the players that have signed recently onto their respective teams. Fix positions, go through the roster, make sure if I did miss anybody that they are getting fixed. Now you guys will have to load them. Don't forget, you will have to go to the load and delete section and load them. I did not do that here, but here we are. The Bears haven't really done much, but there are teams that have done quite a few things. The Saints brought in Jonathan Abram as well as a bunch of defensive tackles. Now, some of the defensive tackles have already been here, like Nathan Shepard and Khalil Saunders, but they did bring back Malcolm Roach. The Texans brought in Devin Singletary and Dalton Schultz, just to name a few pieces. Now, of course, they brought in other pieces like Denzel Perriman as well as Corey Littleton. Those are two guys I forgot about. And just like with you seeing on the Bengals, I moved Jonah Williams to left guard. He was the best available player to put at left guard. He's 6'4". He was the smaller of the 3 tackles. He got moved. You can move the Bengals however you want. If you feel like trading Jonah Williams off as a left tackle because you think he has value for your team, trade him. As the Bills pick up Damian Harris as well. The Browns pick up Matt Adams. Pick up some defensive tackles, including Tristan Hill and Maurice Hurst. Sam Kamara, a defensive end. That was a future contract. Mike Ford, I accidentally put on the Falcons. I moved him to the Browns, where he has actually signed. Bucks, of course, have Baker Mayfield and a whole ton of other stuff. Now, like I said, some players do have to switch positions. One thing you're going to see on the Bucks is a couple people have moved positions to fill holes. Vita Vea has moved to right end to help fill that hole, as Greg Gaines is more of a run stopper. Anthony Nelson has dropped down to a defensive end to back up Logan Hall, because once again, they did not have depth, so I'm moving guys around to hopefully fill those holes so that Madden isn't like, oh, you don't have the minimum roster, So I'm just going through and showing, some of the people that I've moved around. Isaiah Simmons is going to come down and play left outside linebacker for the Cardinals for a little bit, as he doesn't have much value at strong safety. If you've noticed, when you start up a franchise, Isaiah Simmons is like one of the first people traded. It was always him and Kareem Hunt. They would be traded within 2 weeks of you starting up the franchise, at least in the regular season, because heaven forbid motherfuckers have 2 decent players at a position and they just use them. As you see there, Takk McKinley at left outside linebacker. Speed, versatility, run stopping ability. It makes sense. I'm not going to put like a 300-pounder there, though. Andrew Van Ginkel, of course, with the Dolphins. I do have to fix a couple things on the Dolphins. I will be moving Riley and Channing Tyndall, their other middle linebacker that they just drafted. I'll be moving him back to middle linebacker. He is a left outside linebacker at the current moment. Nicholas Moreau goes to the Eagles. Austin Bryant goes to the Niners, as well as John Felicio, the center. So, and I don't really know what to do with him. You guys can decide what you guys want with him, because they do have Aaron Banks and Spencer Buford. So I don't know. It's a mixed bag, right? And then, as you see here, I had a couple things that I want to do. I ended up moving Xavier McKinney over to strong safety and kicking Tony Jefferson off the roster because he is no longer there. I just forgot to do it before I recorded this video. So, like I said, I'm just going through showing you guys some of the stuff I've been doing. Now, of course, I am trying to trim down the roster as much as I can. But then again, like I've said, Madden has set limitations, okay? I can get the contract years right. I can get players on their teams. I can't release players unless I have a replacement option. So, that kind of does suck. Jalen Mills signs back with the Patriots. It said he's going to be converting back to safety, but unless they plan on putting Jabril Peppers or Kyle Duggar, inside the box full time, I don't understand why they would move him back to safety. He has more value at corner right now. Maybe I'm confused, but one thing I will say is, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about the roster, whether it's a player missing, a player not being on the correct team, stuff like that, I more than happily address it. If you guys have not heard me say this before, I check 3 to 4 websites every time I do roster control. I found out Mike Ford didn't sign with the Falcons because one of my sources said that he signed with the Falcons. Well, it didn't say that he signed with the Falcons, but said he signed a contract and it had the Falcons logo next to his name. So I assumed, he went back to the Falcons. But he didn't. I found out later today that he went to the Browns because he popped up under the Browns transactions. So I'm trying my best. There is a lot of moving players. Remember, teams are consisted of like 90 set players after the draft each year. Closer to 100 sometimes. After free agency, most rosters are consumed of about 60 to 70 players before the draft even happens. So there's a lot of moving parts, especially when you consider some teams drop down all the way to like 30 players after a season when all the rosters get when all the contracts get reset. So it's a lot of moving pieces. Like I said, I cannot get the money correct. Madden does not give me the tools to do that. I can get up to 3 years correct, but I cannot get the money correct. I cannot increase age, and it's hard for me to take a year off of somebody's contract, right? Especially if they have over $15 million on their contract. I can do a lot of, little tricks here and there to get stuff reset, but of course, there's only so much I can do. Like I said, if you guys have any comments or suggestions, let me know down below. But with that being said, guys, hope you guys enjoy this roster. Hopefully you guys enjoy the off-season. Hopefully your team's doing stuff that you like. With that being said, guys, I'm out. Peace.